Deep within the ocean, buried beneath layers of sand and hidden in the most remote jungles, could creatures we once believed to be extinct still be lurking? Scientists are now unraveling secrets that have been lost for ages, from ancient sharks to nightmarish deep-sea predators. Here are 15 terrifying creatures that were thought to be locked away in the past but have recently been discovered. Number 15. Snakehead fish. Can a single fish take over entire ecosystems, wiping out prey and thriving where other predators fail? The snakehead isn't just another freshwater species. It's an apex predator built for destruction. With a powerful body, razor-sharp teeth, and the ability to survive both in water and on land, this creature has held on unnoticed in its native waters for centuries. But now, it's making its way into new territories, spreading faster than anyone expected. Why is this fish such a threat? Unlike most predators, it doesn't just rely on water. It can breathe air, slither across land, and survive for days outside of the water. If its home becomes uninhabitable, it simply moves on, invading lakes, rivers, and ponds with no effort. And once it arrives, the damage begins. Native fish populations stand no chance against its aggressive hunting style. It swallows fish, frogs, and even small mammals without hesitation, rapidly taking over the food chain. Where did this creature come from, and why is it appearing in places it never belonged? Originally from Asia and Africa, it was either released as a food source or dumped into waterways by pet owners who underestimated its growth. Now, it's been spotted across the United States and beyond, disrupting ecosystems and leaving destruction in its wake. With no natural predators in these new environments, its numbers are skyrocketing. After years of going unnoticed, this predator is emerging in new environments, and the consequences are becoming too big to ignore. Number 14. Stargazer fish. How many creatures have spent centuries buried in the ocean floor, unseen and undisturbed until now? Could a predator so elusive and dangerous have gone unnoticed for generations, only now being fully understood? The stargazer fish is one of the ocean's most terrifying creatures, skulking just beneath the sand, waiting in silence, a monster locked away from the world for years, for centuries. These bizarre and nightmarish creatures remained unknown to most. Unlike sharks or giant squids that dominate the depths, stargazers hide in plain sight, perfectly camouflaged as part of the ocean floor. Rarely seen, rarely studied, and only recently gaining attention, these predators have existed in secrecy until now. What makes them so terrifying? First, their ambush technique is unlike anything else. Instead of chasing prey, they bury themselves completely in the sand, leaving only their bulging, lifeless eyes exposed. As unsuspecting fish swim by, the stargazer explodes from the sand, opening its massive mouth and swallowing its victim in an instant. Some species even have a worm-like lure inside their mouth, a sinister trick that attracts prey straight into their gaping jaws. But hunting in the dark isn't their only weapon. Certain species of stargazers possess venomous spines, capable of delivering a painful and potentially lethal sting. Others take it even further. They generate electric shocks, stunning their prey instantly. These predators don't just kill in one way. They have multiple ways to attack, making them one of the most dangerous ambush hunters in the ocean. Across countless years, these creatures sustained, camouflaged, their terrifying abilities unknown to most. Fishermen who accidentally caught them spoke of a strange fish that could electrocute and poison them, but few outside the fishing industry had ever seen one. What other deadly secrets have been buried beneath the ocean floor for centuries? Scientists now study their shocking abilities, uncovering mysteries that have prolonged in the depths for generations. What else has been looming beneath the ocean, waiting to be uncovered? With new footage and discoveries, these terrifying creatures are finally stepping out of the shadows, proving that the depths still hold secrets more chilling than we ever imagined. Number 13. Sea pig. Have we discovered something so strange, so out of place, that it feels like it belongs in another world? What if it had been hiding in the deep ocean for ages, unseen, almost like it had been locked away? Well, it turns out there is one, and it's called the sea pig. This tiny, squishy creature looks like something straight out of a deep-sea nightmare. It's pink, balloon-like, and covered in eerie tube-like legs that make it scuttle across the ocean floor. But what makes it even more unsettling? No one really saw these things for a long time. They've been crawling around in the darkest parts of the ocean, miles below the surface, completely unnoticed. It wasn't until modern deep-sea exploration that scientists started uncovering them, and when they did, they found something even creepier. Sea pigs don't just live alone. They travel in massive herds, swarming across the seafloor like an army of ghostly scavengers. And what exactly are they doing down there? Waiting for death, literally. These creatures survive by feeding on whatever dead matter drifts down from above. Fish, plants, even whale carcasses. When something big like a whale sinks to the bottom, sea pigs arrive by the hundreds, feasting on the remains. It's like they're always watching, always waiting for the next thing to fall into their eerie, silent world. But here's where it gets even weirder. Scientists have discovered that tiny crabs actually ride on top of sea pigs, using them like deep-sea bodyguards. Why? No one knows for sure, but it's clear that sea pigs are more than just scavengers. And now that we finally found them, the question is, what else is still down there, waiting to be uncovered? Number 12. Hammerhead bat. What mysterious creature has remained unseen, avoiding human eyes for generations? What has a face so bizarre, so unnatural looking, that people have questioned if it was even real? Deep in the rainforests of West and Central Africa, there's a bat unlike anything else on Earth, the hammer-headed bat. This isn't your typical bat. This thing is massive, with wingspans stretching over 3 feet and a body nearly twice the size of other bats. It dominates the skies at night, but the real shock comes when you look at it. The males have gigantic, boxy heads, enormous lips, and swollen, almost grotesque facial features, all designed to produce incredibly loud honking calls that echo through the night. What kind of creature needs a face like that? Scientists believe it's all part of their mating ritual. Males gather in large groups, screaming into the darkness, competing for the attention of nearby females. And it works. The loudest, most dominant males get most of the mates. But here's where things get even creepier. Some locals claim these bats aren't just fruit eaters. They've been spotted attacking chickens, tearing into their flesh and drinking their blood. While rare, reports of carnivorous behavior have made people question what else this bat might be capable of. Even more unsettling, some scientists believe the hammer-headed bat may be linked to deadly viruses like Ebola, carrying dangerous pathogens while remaining unaffected itself. For years, this creature kept existing, unseen by most, obscured deep in the forests, away from human eyes. Now, with new research and deeper exploration, it's finally being exposed to the world. But here's the real question. What other creatures, just as strange and terrifying, are still waiting to be found? Number 11. Giant phantom jellyfish. What if I told you there's a massive jellyfish over 30 feet long, just floating in the deep ocean, barely ever seen by humans? Sounds unreal, but it's 100% real. Meet the giant phantom jellyfish, one of the most mysterious and terrifying creatures of the deep. For over a century, this thing has been spotted only around 100 times. Think about that. In over 100 years, barely anyone has laid eyes on it. So what makes it so elusive? This isn't your average jellyfish. Instead of a mess of stinging tentacles, it's got 4 massive, flowing arms that stretch out like eerie underwater curtains. It doesn't sting its prey. It traps them, slowly wrapping around anything unlucky enough to drift too close. And because it lives thousands of feet below the surface, there's almost no light, which means this thing is practically invisible in its own world. Some say it might even glow faintly in the dark. Imagine seeing that out of nowhere. Would you stick around? But here's where it gets even weirder. This jellyfish has been spotted in the freezing waters near Antarctica, way higher up than where it's usually found. What's it doing there? Some scientists think it comes up to get rid of parasites using sunlight. Others say ocean currents might just push it toward the surface. Either way, it's a rare sight, so rare that most people didn't even know it existed. And the biggest mystery, no one really knows how it reproduces. Even with the few sightings we have, scientists are still piecing together how this thing survives. One thing's for sure, though, whatever's hiding in the deep, we've barely scratched the surface. Who knows what else is down there, just waiting to be found. Number 10. Coconut crab. Could there be a creature so massive and powerful that it seems almost unreal? One that can crush bones, scale trees, and vanish into the darkness of night? The coconut crab is unlike anything most people have ever seen. A giant, clawed predator that has endured, sheltered on remote islands for centuries. As more sightings surface, people are starting to wonder, what else has been prowling out of sight all this time? How large can this monstrous crab grow? Unlike the tiny crabs scuttling along the shore, this one reaches over 3 feet across and weighs nearly 10 pounds. Its claws are strong enough to snap bones, rip open coconuts, and even drag small animals away. Some reports even suggest they have snatched birds right from their nests, vanishing into the shadows before anyone can react. Where have they been all these years? These creatures have spent centuries in isolation, hiding on remote islands in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. But as their natural habitats shrink, they have started creeping closer to human settlements, leading to eerie encounters that leave people both fascinated and terrified. Is this a creature to fear? While they don't actively hunt humans, their powerful grip and aggressive behavior make them a creature no one would want to provoke. A single bite could leave lasting damage, and their slow, deliberate movements only add to their unsettling presence. Over the decades, they continued, tucked away from the world, rarely seen and barely understood. But as they step out of the shadows, one thing is certain. This is no ordinary crab, and it refuses to stay protected away any longer. Now it's time for today's topic. A shocking discovery near Yakutsk, Siberia, has left scientists and locals stunned. This massive, tentacled beast was reportedly unearthed during a construction project, with its grotesque alien-like body resembling something out of a horror film. Measuring over 30 feet in diameter, its writhing appendages and disturbing organic texture suggest an ancient species never documented before. Researchers remain divided on whether this is a prehistoric deep-sea creature that adapted to underground life or something far more unexplainable. Some cryptozoologists argue it could be related to legendary sea monsters from ancient folklore. Others speculate a classified government experiment gone wrong. However, skeptics aren't buying it. Critics point out the unnatural symmetry of the creature and the lack of biological decay, suggesting a hoax or even an elaborate movie prop. While conspiracy theorists insist that this is proof of hidden creatures beneath our feet, more rational minds call it one of the internet's wildest fakes yet. So, real or ridiculous? Either way, this bizarre discovery is certainly keeping the internet entertained. Number 9. Chrysophilia. The animal kingdom is full of surprises. A snake that moves through the sky sounds impossible, but it's real. Deep in the forests of Southeast Asia, flying snakes have been moving through the treetops, unseen for years. Unlike normal snakes, these creatures glide through the air, traveling nearly 100 feet between trees. How does a snake with no wings pull this off? Climbs high, hangs from a branch, then launches itself forward. Midair, it flattens its body, turning itself into a gliding machine. Scientists have discovered that the snake's unique ability to undulate its body midair helps it maintain stability and control during its flight. This undulation creates lift, allowing the snake to glide farther than it would by simply falling. High-speed cameras have revealed that the snake's body forms a sort of S shape while gliding, which reduces drag and increases its aerodynamic efficiency. Flying snakes use this skill to hunt prey, escape predators, and move between trees without having to descend to the forest floor, where they are more vulnerable. Their diet consists mainly of small mammals, birds, and lizards, which they ambush with remarkable precision. Despite their fearsome appearance, flying snakes are non-venomous and pose no threat to humans. It even rides while flying, steering itself with eerie precision, a movement that scientists still don't fully understand. So, why has this creature stayed unchanged? Nestled for so long? Flying snakes live high in the canopy, rarely coming down where humans can see them. But now, modern technology is finally exposing their secret. Once thought to be nothing more than a myth, they are now a reality. Number 8. Giant African snail. Some creatures just don't stay gone, no matter how hard people try to erase them. But what if something was so destructive, so unstoppable, that even after being wiped out, it still found a way to return? That's the giant African land snail. It was supposed to be gone, banned, hunted down, completely removed from places where it never belonged. But after years of silence, these massive, slow-moving invaders made a comeback, and this time, they were bigger, stronger, and more destructive than before. But what makes this snail so terrifying? For starters, it's not some tiny garden pest. These things can grow up to 8 inches long, devouring everything in their path. Crops, plants, trees, even the walls of houses. But that's not even the worst part. What if I told you they also carry deadly parasites that can infect humans? A creature that destroys landscapes and spreads disease. That's a nightmare combination. That's exactly why they were banned in the US years ago. Experts thought they had wiped them out for good. So why are they back? Florida, 2011. Scientists confirmed they had returned. The infestation spread so fast that it took nearly a decade to bring it under control. But once they thought they had won, another wave appeared in 2022. How does that even happen? These creatures have a terrifying survival trick. When conditions aren't right, they seal themselves inside their shells and wait. And they can do this for up to 3 years, just sitting there, blended in, waiting for the perfect moment to reemerge. So what do you do when something refuses to die off? No matter how many times people try to get rid of them, they keep coming back. They move silently, multiply before anyone notices, and survive in ways that don't even seem possible. The giant African land snail was once thought to be nothing more than history, but now it's clear, they were never really gone at all. Number 7. Goliath tigerfish. Why do fishermen whisper about a creature lurking beneath the surface, too afraid to say its name? What kind of creature lurks beneath the surface, unseen for years, only emerging in rare, bone-chilling encounters? The Goliath tigerfish isn't just another river predator. It's a nightmare with razor-sharp teeth and a savage reputation that few have lived to tell about. For years, this beast lingered unseen in the shadows of the Congo River basin, locked away in deep, fast-moving waters where few dare to venture. Unlike ordinary fish, this 6-foot-long monster is built for destruction. Its muscular body slices through raging currents, giving it the power and speed to ambush anything in its path. And when it strikes, it doesn't just bite. It tears its prey apart with interlocking fangs that rival those of a great white shark. How did such a terrifying predator stay unnoticed for so long? Scientists believe that ancient geological shifts isolated its population, trapping it in the depths of the Congo. Over time, it evolved into one of the most deadly freshwater hunters on the planet, ruling its domain with unmatched ferocity. Local legends even describe it as a spirit of the river, an untamed force of nature that appears without warning and vanishes just as quickly. Could this fish be more than just a myth? Fishermen whisper about its unpredictable aggression, telling stories of boats being attacked, nets torn apart, and unlucky prey being swallowed whole. Unlike other tiger fish, the Goliath doesn't just bite, it clamps down, never letting go. And if one of its dagger-like teeth ever falls out, a new one grows back in days, ensuring its deadly grip never weakens. Through the ages, the world had no idea this monster of the deep even existed. Now, as more footage and research expose its true power, one chilling question remains. If this terror has been hiding in plain sight for so long, what else is creeping in the depths, waiting to be found? Number 6. Frilled shark. Has something truly ancient and terrifying been hiding in the depths of the ocean all this time? Across time, scientists have only caught rare glimpses of a creature so strange and elusive that many doubted its existence. The frilled shark, a deep-sea predator often called a living fossil, has remained kept away in the darkest corners of the ocean, unchanged for millions of years. But when it finally surfaced, what experts discovered was nothing short of terrifying. Stalking at extreme depths, the frilled shark moves like something from a nightmare, with its long, eel-like body, multiple rows of needle-sharp teeth, and a jaw structure unlike any other shark. It hunts in a way that seems almost alien. Unlike other predators, it doesn't just chase down its prey, it lunges forward, wrapping its body like a snake to trap and devour its victims whole. And with over 300 hooked teeth, anything caught in its grip has no escape. For decades, this prehistoric predator was only known through occasional accidental captures. But recent discoveries have brought it back into the spotlight. Researchers studying the ocean's depths have recorded chilling footage of frilled sharks alive and hunting, and what they've seen raises more questions than answers. How has it survived unchanged for so long? What else is concealed in the unexplored waters of the deep? Even its reproductive cycle is unlike anything seen before. The frilled shark's gestation period lasts up to 3.5 years, longer than any other known vertebrate. Without a defined breeding season, these creatures reproduce at an incredibly slow rate, making them even rarer to encounter. Some scientists believe that their isolated deep-sea existence is what has kept them frozen in time, untouched by evolution. But with deep-sea fishing and habitat disruption increasing, these once-veiled creatures are being forced closer to the surface, raising the eerie possibility that we may start seeing more of them than ever before. Are these ancient predators simply a glimpse into the past, or is their sudden appearance a warning of changes in the ocean that we don't yet understand? Number 5. Tripod fish. What else could be hiding in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean? If something as strange as the tripod fish withstood undiscovered for so long, what other creatures might still be out there, waiting to be found? This eerie deep-sea predator was once nothing more than a mystery, locked away in the ocean's midnight zone. For years, no one even knew it existed. But now that we've uncovered it, the real question is, what else don't we know? How does a fish survive in a world of complete darkness? Unlike most predators, the tripod fish doesn't hunt in the way you'd expect. It doesn't chase its prey. It barely moves at all. Instead, it stands motionless on 3 bony, skeletal fins, balancing like a creature frozen in time. Its fins are so long that they allow the fish to perch above the seafloor, avoiding the sediment and debris that could clog its gills. The tripod fish's eyes are small and nearly useless in the pitch-black depths, so it relies on its highly sensitive lateral line system to detect vibrations in the water. This adaptation allows it to sense the movement of prey even in complete darkness. Its elongated pectoral fins also act as feelers, helping it navigate its environment and locate food. These unique features make the tripod fish a master of survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth. By facing the current and waiting, it lets food come straight to it. And when the moment is right, snap, it flicks its prey into its mouth with no effort at all. So, is it lazy or just the ultimate deep-sea survivor? But if that isn't strange enough, here's where things get even creepier. It doesn't need a mate to reproduce. Every single tripod fish is both male and female at the same time. That means if it never finds another one of its kind, it doesn't matter. It can still create offspring all on its own. Does that make it one of the most independent creatures on Earth, or one of the loneliest? This deep-sea creature was shielded from the world, far beyond human reach. But now that it has been exposed, what else could be waiting in the darkness? If the tripod fish stayed unseen for so long, how many more strange creatures are still out there? Number 4. Tasmanian devil. Is there a beast so aggressive that the wild itself seems to fear it? One with a bone-crushing bite, razor-sharp teeth, and a scream so chilling it echoes through the night? The Tasmanian devil isn't just a name. It's a living nightmare wrapped in fur. For years, this terrifying creature was locked away, covered from the world, and left on the verge of extinction. But now it's making a return. The question is, are we ready for it? Once roaming freely across Australia, these creatures vanished from the mainland thousands of years ago. What forced them into exile? Some blame climate shifts. Others say it was the arrival of dingoes that pushed them out. Whatever the cause, these fierce predators were driven into the dense wilderness of Tasmania, isolated from the rest of the world. In the shadows of the island, they thrived in secrecy, their population dwindling but their ferocity never fading. What makes them so feared? Their jaws pack one of the most powerful bites of any land predator, strong enough to crush bones with ease. They don't just feed, they tear through flesh, devouring every last piece, including bones and fur. Covered in jet-black fur with beady red eyes, they look like something pulled straight from a nightmare. And when they fight over food, the sight is pure chaos, shrieking, growling, and snapping, creating a feeding frenzy unlike anything else in the animal kingdom. But after being locked away for thousands of years, they are no longer just a relic of Tasmania's wild past. Conservationists have been reintroducing them to the wild, even releasing them back onto the Australian mainland. Could this help restore balance to fragile ecosystems? Or will their aggressive nature create more problems than solutions? For centuries, these creatures lurked in the shadows, forgotten by the modern world. But now, as they emerge once again, one thing is certain. This terrifying beast is back, and it's reclaiming its place in the wild. Number 3. Camel spider. Could a predator this powerful, this feared, truly vanish? Or is it still out there, waiting? And then, out of nowhere, it returns. That's exactly the case with the solifuge, also known as the camel spider, wind scorpion, or sun spider. Since ancient times, these creatures were barely seen, almost like they had vanished. People told stories, shared horrifying rumors, and then silence. But now they're back. These aren't just oversized spiders, they're something else entirely. One of the fastest arachnids on Earth, solifuges have been rumored to reach speeds of nearly 10 miles per hour, chasing down prey with terrifying precision. Some believed they were just myths, exaggerated desert legends. But when researchers started encountering them again in recent years, the truth was even scarier. These creatures don't use venom, don't spin webs, and don't sit around waiting for food. They hunt, and their method? Pure, raw power. Their jaws, often larger than their own heads, can slice through insects, lizards, and even small birds in seconds. So, where were they all this time? How did something this fast, this relentless, seem to just disappear for years? Some experts think extreme climate changes or shifts in their food sources forced them to retreat underground or into remote desert regions, staying faded until the conditions were right again. Now they've reemerged, reclaiming their place as one of the most feared hunters in the desert. And what about those old horror stories? The ones that claimed they could leap onto their prey, bite through bone, and even chase humans? Solifuges aren't hunting humans, but their speed, stealth, and raw power make them seem like creatures that were never meant to be seen. But here we are, they're back, and they aren't going anywhere this time. Number 2. Sarcastic fringehead. Can something so bizarre and aggressive really exist in the ocean, disguised away for years? A creature so territorial and unpredictable that even its own kind fears it? Meet the sarcastic fringehead, a name that might sound funny until you see this nightmare of a fish in action. This deep-sea terror has been spying in the shadows, unseen by most, with a secret weapon that makes it one of the most unsettling creatures in the ocean. For generations, this ferocious predator stayed behind, out of sight, buried in underwater crevices, abandoned shells, or even inside discarded bottles on the ocean floor. But don't let its hiding habits fool you. This fish isn't afraid of a fight. Males are extremely territorial, and when challenged, they unleash their horrifying defense mechanism. Their mouths can expand up to 4 times their normal size, creating a gaping, nightmarish display that instantly intimidates rivals. In some cases, 2 males will go head-to-head, smashing their massive jaws together in a battle for dominance. The loser doesn't stick around. It knows that pushing its luck could mean a brutal defeat. But how does this creature survive? Scientists still don't fully understand its diet, but one thing is clear: it's an opportunistic feeder. Unlike other fish that rely on suction feeding, the sarcastic fringehead's oversized mouth makes it difficult to hunt in the usual way. However, it has been observed feasting on squid eggs during spawning season, using its speed and aggression to snatch up this valuable food source before other predators can get to it. Despite its terrifying appearance and aggressive nature, the sarcastic fringehead has largely existed unnoticed. It isn't hunted, it isn't caught in commercial fishing nets, and it doesn't appear to be at risk of extinction. For years, This monster of the deep has been locked away beneath the waves, avoiding human interaction and staying invisible in its dark, narrow shelters. Now, with more cameras capturing its unbelievable jaw displays and aggressive attacks, the sarcastic fringehead is finally getting the attention it deserves. This terrifying fish is no longer just a mystery of the deep, it's a real-life horror waiting just beneath the surface. Number 1. Viperfish. Are there creatures hiding in the ocean's depths, concealed for centuries in the darkness, far beyond human sight? What kind of creature thrives in absolute darkness, armed with menacing fangs and a body built for ambush? The viperfish is one of the ocean's most terrifying predators, a nightmare dwelling in the abyss, silent, unseen, and waiting. Over time, this deep-sea hunter persisted, a mystery rarely captured and even less understood. Unlike sharks or other known predators, the viperfish doesn't need speed or brute force to dominate its world. It has evolved for stealth, using its long, needle-like teeth and a jaw that unhinges to swallow prey whole. Scientists now believe this monster may have been hiding in submarine trenches, in volcanic calderas, places so remote that only recently have we been able to explore them. What makes this creature even more terrifying? It glows in the dark. Along its body are bioluminescent photophores that flash like a deep-sea signal, luring unsuspecting prey directly into its deadly jaws. Out of sight, in the pitch-black depths, the viperfish blends into the darkness, only revealing itself when it's too late for its victim to escape. Why was this creature unknown for so long? Living thousands of feet below the surface, where sunlight never reaches, the viperfish is kept on, out of sight, locked away in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Even fishermen rarely encounter them, as they rise to feed only in the dead of night before sinking back into the abyss. But now, with deep-sea exploration advancing, new discoveries and footage are revealing just how terrifying this silent predator really is. No longer a mystery, no longer unseen, this deep-sea nightmare is finally being exposed to the world. But the real question is, what else is waiting to be uncovered in the ocean's darkest corners? Which of these creatures fascinates you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next video. We'll see you there.